As long as I can remember, there were only two ways to go. One was along the old school highway, the other was the wrong road. And some things come clearer as I fill another page. The right to be yourself and happy were gifts that God gave. Let us dance for love while we search for the truth. May God bless us, everyone, in the folly of our youth. May we find our way to be our own, and that there's no
Good morning. Welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. We are thankful that you have found your way here on this kind of rainy, messy morning. We love you for that. And those of you at home on Facebook Live, we love you too. And hope to see you join us here in the sanctuary as soon as you can. My name is Susan Caldwell. I'm the Director of Religious Education here at All Souls. Whatever your age, race, ability, background, sexual orientation, gender identity, nationality, political affiliation, all of the things that might otherwise divide us, whatever you are, if you care to worship with us, you are welcome. In our community, we view the word worship in the context of an Old English definition of worthship, or lifting up matters of worth. And our matters of worth as a congregation may be different from person to person to person, but we come together united not by a specific creed, but by covenant, by the promises that we make to each other for the way that we're going to be together in community, and the way we're going to listen to each other, the way we're going to work through our differences and lift up our commonalities and be interested in our differences. Because that's the part that, as my husband would say, it's a feature, not a bug. We like that. So we welcome you. Thank you. Thank you, the brave, the mighty, for being here this morning. We try to front load these services with a few announcements, fewer now that we have Jennifer Russell doing our beautiful slides for us at the beginning. So whether you're here in the sanctuary or you are online, you can always go do the playback and watch those through because they're just very it's just nice to watch and listen to the music and see what's going on. But right now I'll invite our board treasurer, Rebecca Tuggle, up to give us a few updates.
Thank you, Susan. Sure. Good morning. Sorry, I tried to choke to death earlier this morning. Sinuses, can't live with them, can't live without them, right? Love the weather. Anyway, our volunteer of the month for the month of December is Miss Ava Kate Peck. Round of applause, please. Now, in addition to being a champion of the marginalized and underserved, Ava Kate does quite a lot at All Souls. She helped lead the Blessing of the Animals in October. She helped plan and paint the mural that's in the middle and high school room. She acts as an honorary B-Pod. She has helped me out many a day making coffee. She loves to do that. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. But please give her another round of applause. Ava Kate Peck. Our giveaway the plate this month is North Louisiana Interfaith, which is a nonpartisan political organization comprised of member institutions of which we are part. Multiple faiths and congregations are working together through the umbrella of an organization called Together Louisiana, and we work on state and local issues that are our community, and we pledge financially to them each year, so this helps augment what we budget for them in the year. So all of our non-pledge donations go to give away the plate. Our baskets for collection are stationed at the front of the sanctuary as you enter, and if you would leave your generous donations there, we would definitely appreciate it. Of course, you can also go online and donate at allsoulshreveport.org. As you can see, the mitten tree is back. It's up from Maggie Lee's closet. If you would bring new mittens, gloves, scarves, coats, hats, that kind of thing for children, and put them on the tree, and they will be donated to the Highland Center Ministries Maggie's Closet. Thank you to all of those who came out for Building and Grounds yesterday: Eric First, Deborah Warren, Dawn Subasic, and Chris Webb. If you're here, stand and be recognized, which I think Dawn is it. The bulk of the groundskeeping and maintenance for this place on us. So anybody who can come, and that includes me, the second Saturday from 10 to 2, there's always stuff to be done inside and outside, and it's on us. So except for, the lawn maintenance and just the regular cleaning. Now, for those of you who have email addresses in Breeze, you have probably already gotten your pledge form for 2023, and some of you have actually returned it, so thank you for that. And thank you to Bennett Upton, because he was really instrumental in helping me get that out. If you didn't get one, there are pledge forms in the foyer on either side, and if you would pick one of those up and fill them out, we would really appreciate it. Really need to get those back in by December 21st so that we can start working on the budget. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to do the congregational meeting, but we will stay tuned. We will keep you informed on that. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. And I hope if you have watched the slides that you do get passing through the slides are pictures of our board members and their names and emails. And so anytime you want to get in touch with a board member, again, you can go back to the playback on Facebook Live. You don't have to have a Facebook account. It's a public page. It's a public video, so you can watch it whether you are on Facebook or not. I did want to tell you a little bit about our Christmas Eve service. We do have, it's probably, no, I would say it definitely is, the most traditional service we do all year. It is Christmas Eve, and we read the Christmas story from the book of Luke. We sing all the Christmas carols with the original words. And we light candles. Everyone gets a candle. And the cool thing, these candles actually will not be here that night because we put the sanctuary in total darkness, and then it's really kind of cool as you watch the light grow in the window. So it's a nice thing, and we welcome you. And usually afterward, people will bring whatever cookies or things that are lying around the house that they don't necessarily want to eat all themselves at home, so they kind of bring things and we share. It's very informal. Nobody goes to a big lot of trouble, but we just kind of get together in the social hall for a little while afterward, because we know that a lot of people need to rush home and meet a certain jolly fellow that might arrive later. So we don't stay long, but we just hang out for a little bit. Christmas Day falls on a Sunday this year. Barbara and I are still kind of, Reverend Barbara Jarrell, who is our minister, who is taking a much-deserved break with some friends of hers this weekend, but we have talked about this, and I think something will happen here in person on Christmas Day. Whatever it is, it's going to be really chill. I mean, I'm just saying the big effort, the big service will be Saturday night, but we will probably do something that Sunday morning. I think that is all I have. I feel like there was something else that I'll remember halfway through the service, but I believe that's it. So I encourage you to take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop down from your ears. Kind of just let everything kind of loosen up. And just be here. Be present as we enter a spirit of worship. You may remain seated as we sing together, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are." The words will be on the screen. Come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Let's do it one more time. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. And of course, in this moment, I know the thing that I forgot to say. Our featured speaker this morning will not be on camera. That's on purpose. And if you're here in the sanctuary, you know him. And if you don't know him, well, show up and get to know him at your earliest convenience. Anyone who has known me for a minute knows that I am a Star Trek fan, all the Star Treks. And one of the many things I love about Star Trek is the whole idea of the universal translator, this ingenious device that allows crew members from all over the universe to speak in their many languages from their many planets and still understand each other. And over the years that I've served this church, I've often reminded you to use your universal translator. You may not know it, but you were issued one at the door, and it's your job to turn it on and use it. That is, to try and listen through the language of a faith tradition that is not your own, to crack open whatever shell has formed around it for you, and find whatever treasure might be waiting for you within. So today, this service is a celebration of the season of Advent, the time in the Christian liturgical calendar of awaiting the birth of Jesus, a time that calls us into patience and quiet at what may well be one of our busiest and noisiest and messiest times of year. So as we invite you to accept this invitation, to translate as you need to, I'll ask you to join me in this responsive reading by Reverend Leslie Takahashi. There's only one response, the words, "We are waiting." Can you say that with me? We are waiting. Thank you. This is the season of anticipation, of expecting, of hoping, of wanting. This is the time of expecting the arrival of something or someone. We are waiting. This is the time of living in darkness, in the hues of unknowing, of being quiet, of reflecting on a year almost past, waiting for a new beginning, for a closing or an end. This is the time for digesting the lessons of days gone past, anticipating the future for which we are waiting. Waiting for a world which can know justice, waiting for a lasting peace, waiting for the bridge to span the divides which separate us, waiting for a promise or a hope. For all of this, we are waiting. Thank you. We'll do our first chalice sliding, and I think, are you going to help me this morning? Mrs. Elliott and Jackson, oh, thank you. Thank you. Christy, would you like to help us? I see you doing it back there. Would you like to help us too? That would be wonderful. Come on down. Kevin, do you want to? Any of the kids that would like to are more than welcome. Okay. We are ready. You got this. In your sparkly shoes, I'm liking these shoes. night. Okay, y'all ready? We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other. What a great job and what a great group. All right? Oh, wait a second. I'm going to invite our reader to. Okay, go for it.
This is a passage about Sai Baba of Shirdi, and he's a very important person in my personal spiritual practice. He was a 16th century Muslim saint who preached the unity of all religions and who uplifted the marginalized. And this is called Light of the Lamp Reflects Glow of the Lord. Our ancestors proclaimed that the light in a lamp is the Supreme Spirit. It means that the light of the lamp is a form of God. On lighting a lamp, the darkness gets dispelled. Sin, grief, and ignorance are like darkness. Unable to differentiate between good and evil, we tread a wrong path. It is our custom to worship fire, the brightest form of all the 5 elements. The belief that the food offered to the fire will reach God is also the basic belief that light is a form of the Supreme Spirit. The very first step in performing a religious rite is to light the lamp. Indeed, adoring God does mean lighting the lamp to worship. In the light of the lamp, we have to see the glorious image of the divinity, meditate, and place in our heart for adoration. By this practice, it would become a habit to see the visible God in the form of the flame in oneself and in all beings. This is the philosophy unfolded by lighting the lamps. He who lived as a fakir in the mosque lighted a row of lamps to prove that God is not bound by any religion. Without constant practice, it is not possible to get self-realization. But the Master of the universe can light a lamp not only with oil, but even with water. He taught us a lesson by turning water into oil, lighting the lamp of wisdom in all our hearts, and dispelling spiritual ignorance.
If you'll rise in body or spirit, join us in the unison affirmation. The words will be on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. Our opening hymn is O Come, O Come, Emmanuel, and I said earlier we sing all the original words in the Christmas carols at the Christmas Eve service. For this song, we don't. For this song, the words that have been put into our Unitarian Universalist hymnal actually are much better fit for our celebration of Advent. So the words will be on the screen, and I am going to actually lead this a cappella, I think, because choir members are out of town. Gail, unless you would like to, do you want to lead? No. I didn't want to put you on the spot. No worries. So the tune is, O come, Emmanuel, and with your captive children dwell. Give comfort to all exiles here, and to the aching heart bid cheer. Rejoice, come within as love to dwell. O come, ye splendor very bright, as joy that never yields to might. O come and turn all hearts to peace, that greed and war at last shall cease. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as truth to dwell. O come, ye dayspring, come and cheer our spirits by your presence here, and dawn in every broken soul as vision that can see the whole. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as light to dwell. O come, ye wisdom from on high, from depths that hide within a sigh, to temper knowledge with our care, to render every act a prayer. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come within as hope to dwell. Thank you. So, 2 weeks from today is what? Christmas. That's it. So this is the perfect time of year when it's really easy to be quiet and patient and not be in a hurry and just meditate on the beauty of the season, right? Right. Whoever said right, you need to be up here. It's not easy. This is a busy time of year for a lot of people anyway. I mean, there may be tests at school right now before the holidays. Maybe you're running around with your kids are running around with your parents to get the shopping done. Parents are running around with their kids to get to the parties and find all the right gifts for everyone. Get ready for company or get ready to travel to see relatives. So even when it's a joyful time, it can be a stressful time, right? Can anybody relate to that? And sometimes sad or hard things may have happened right before Christmas, and it can be hard to find the joy. And sometimes you can be so excited for Christmas to get here, and you think, I can't wait, I can't wait. Does anybody feel like that? Is there anybody here that feels like that? Can't wait, can't wait. Yeah. You know what my mom used to tell me when I would say things like that? She would say, you're wishing your life away. And it took me growing up before I really understood, what that meant. And then, have you ever noticed, then it's here and then it's over? Like you thought it was going to take so long and you were waiting and you were waiting and you were waiting. And then suddenly it's Christmas and then suddenly it's over, right? And so I think this is where Advent comes in, because Advent is this time, right now, while we're waiting for the birth of the baby Jesus. Advent invites us to spend some time in the quiet darkness as we wait for the light. It invites us to wait patiently and to remember to appreciate right now and live fully in this moment. So if you did the work to put up a tree, take some time to sit and look at it each day. And if you don't have a tree, maybe light a candle and take some time to sit and look at that flame and just be and just say, I'm going to appreciate this moment, this time, right now, before the presents, before before all the stuff. And just think of doing that every day. Every day. Just a little bit of time set aside. Maybe it's 30 seconds. Maybe it's a minute. Maybe it's 5. Do you remember that when we talked about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding? Anybody remember that? It's okay. It's been a minute since we talked about it. 5 things you see. That's right. And you name them. You sit and you name them, right? The 5 things that you can see. 4 things what? 4 things you hear. Yeah. 4 things you hear. 3 things you... There was 5 things you see, 4 things you hear, 3 things that you can feel, right, that you can touch. 3 things that you can touch. And as you think of these things, you sit and you take a breath and you name them. And so where are we? We're on 3 things you can touch. 2 things you can smell. And at first you think, well, I don't smell anything. But, like this chalice right now has a smell. The air has a smell. And just stop and think about, what do I smell? What does right now smell like? And then finally, anybody remember what's 1? What's 1? Big breath. Thank you. Big, deep breath. That's so... And you know what? If you get them a little mixed up, if you do 5 things, you can, feel, 4 things you can smell, whatever. It's just, it gives you time to sit and just be in touch with what's around you. So are we ready to sing our children and youth to their classes? Oh, thank you. No, we have one more thing to do. So we are going to light the Advent candles. Today is actually the 3rd Sunday of Advent, so we're playing catch up a little bit. So we're going to light 3. And our guest is going to come and read for us what the candles mean.
The first candle we light for the first week of Advent is love. Love is a very familiar concept for Unitarian Universalists, as we're very familiar with love as the bedrock for our church. During Advent, love represents our love for God, or if you don't believe in God or you have a different belief, then love for the universe and each other as we choose to embrace one another during this time. We choose to be more present in each other's lives, as well as to dedicate ourselves to showing more care for nature and the world around us. The second candle is for hope. We light for hope as representative of the patience we show through Advent. Not just patience for Christmas itself and for the birth of Christ, but patience and unwaveringness in the face of darkness as we hope for a better future filled with justice and liberation for all. The third candle, which represents this week of Advent, is for joy. Joy comes at the end of Advent as the fruits of our waiting. It is what we feel as we celebrate the end of the year, as we come together in community, oftentimes after having been apart for so long, and acts as the symbolic receiving of Christ during Advent. In this form of celebration, we are with our loved ones and each other. Thank you.
I'm always thankful for the helpful reminders when we forget things. I was just saying this morning, it's like an Amish quilt. It's the hole that lets the Spirit in. Let's sing the children and youth to their classes. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the Spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. We're going to sing together a song. It's called Meditation on Breathing. And many of us, so I don't know how we'll do with splitting into parts, but we're going to be brave and try this. So first, lower voices sing, breathe in, breathe out, or anybody can sing this. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, and then the next part is, and someone can continue that, but the next part is, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Sing that with me. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. So we've got those two things going. Somebody start with breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Keep going. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Now there's one more part, and this is if you have a higher voice. And I apologize if I'm pitching everything too low for everybody. But this part, it'll make this part easier. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Can somebody do that? When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. So let's start. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Keep that going. Breathe in. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, out, I'll breathe in peace. Whatever I'm doing. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Thank you. It is the season of waiting, waiting for the child to be born in us, waiting for the light to come again. We're moving toward the solstice, the longest night of the year, knowing from that day forward the light will return. Ours is a religion of light. We light the chalice and we speak of the light within each of us, the divine spark. We don't deny the divinity of anybody. We all have seasons in life, though. The planet does, and we do. We all have to enter a time of darkness, a time of waiting for the light to return. In these times, we hold each other's hands, we're together in community, we sing, we light candles. We offer our light to each other, knowing that in time that greater light will return. Jesus prayed in solitude at night, then came together in community with his disciples in the morning, and then went out to minister to the people in the light of the afternoon. And we need that balance. We need that balance of darkness and light, of personal spiritual practice and ministry to the world. We remind ourselves of the words of the Sikh lawyer and activist Valerie Kaur, who in one of the most frightening moments of our recent history reminded us that perhaps this darkness is the darkness of the womb and not the darkness of the tomb. As we remind ourselves that we need that darkness for the rebirth that follows, we take these thoughts with us into the silence.
Good morning, everybody. Advent is a time of self-reflection as we wait and listen in anticipation for the light of Christmas and the birth of Christ. Father Richard Rohr describes Advent as a time where we can practice self-awareness and attentiveness as we wait for full consciousness of Christ. Adam Hamilton, author of Incarnation, Discoveries of Christmas, describes the holiday as a time of renewal and waiting and wondering as to why Jesus came. Love is a sacred principle for Unitarians and the first week of Advent. In all religions, love is expression for God, love for each other, love for ourselves, even if this may be difficult to do. Traditionally, for Advent, love would represent the body of Christ and his willingness to sacrifice himself to us. But for our purposes, we are able to look beyond this and to celebrate love as being holy in its own right, as the embodiment of the values we espouse towards others, and by extension, the symbolic representation of the body of Christ. In Sufism, love is often described as a divine attribute that symbolizes heightened consciousness and complete surrender to God. Rabia al-Adawiya, who is a Sufi mystic, describes two forms of divine love. The first is selfish love, which is when we receive blessings from God, and logically we feel thankful to him for having granted us such bounty. However, this type of love, while according to al-Adawiya, is still being a dual attribute of God, is ultimately superficial and only scratches the surface of what we are looking for. Rather, the second form of love that comes to us from God is what happens when the veil of our heart is lifted and we are able to see God in its true form, without any distractions, also known as love that is worthy of us. It is through love that we are able to experience the true presence of God, both literal and metaphorical, during the time of Advent. Hope, which represents our second week of Advent, is meant to reflect our desires and patience. Hope is represented by our waiting throughout Advent as we contemplate and anticipate the eventual birth of Christ. Elise Hugh-May-Lu, who is an Episcopal priest that has written many times about Advent, has talked about how failures of government, politics, and rhetoric are where we find true hope in the Christ child. The Incarnation is the promise of a better way. The kingdom of God, inaugurated in the birth of Christ, allows us to strive for justice and work towards the liberation of all creation, not just humanity. Liu describes the hope that we instinctively cling to during times of darkness and extreme hardship, whether that be financial hardship, physical hardship, health hardship, or feeling hopelessness in the face of persecution and oppression. Hope serves as the light that keeps us going in the face of such darkness, in the face of all of these forms of adversity, be it hoping for a perfect world, hoping for a more just world, or hoping for a better tomorrow. In modern times, we have often come to associate a person's material success with somehow being the fruits of their faith. Oftentimes, we don't even know that we've fallen prey to this. However, it is those who have faced or continue to face the most hardship in their lives who often are the most grounded in their faith, be it faith to God, the universe, or some other abstract form, or just hope for a better world to come. An Indian guru once said, "God does not bestow as much closeness and love when you are comfortable and enjoying life, as opposed to when you are in trouble and suffering the pangs of adversity." It is during this time when we face the most adversity, when we are at our lowest point, that we become the most open to spiritual change and open consciousness. Joy, which represents the third week of Advent, is the culmination of love and hope. It is when we talk about joy that we are talking about the joy of witnessing the love of God and the miracle of Christ. Like we discussed earlier, Father Richard Rohr attributes the end of Advent to consciousness. Joy requires us to go beyond the physical and to experience consciousness. Many Dharmic faiths teach us that the physical is merely a distraction. The Bhagavad Gita in particular teaches us that the only way we can become a sannyasi or liberated being is when we come to realize that the motions we go through in contributing to the physical world, whether that's by making money, contributing to a job, or just making things for ourselves, whether that be art or pleasure, at the end of the day, all of these things, while still important to one's societal role, are ultimately useless and act as obstacles to true consciousness. Oftentimes during this time of the year, we mistakenly associate joy with material goods and presents. However, in order to show true consciousness, we must learn to move beyond material things and strive for true joy in the form of community and living out the values we set for ourselves. Only then will we be able to embrace the true light of Advent. Next week will be the fourth and last week of Advent, representing peace. I encourage all of you to practice these principles as well as those of nonviolence and acceptance as we prepare to receive the principle of peace and celebrate the end of Advent. Thank you.
Thank you. Our closing hymn, If You'll Rise in Body or Spirit, is When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. I am going to play this one. I'm going to play through the melody one time just so you kind of get a feel for it, and then we're going to do this together, and it's going to work. So the melody is, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed by love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. When we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and creed, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. So the only tricky thing is that little pause. We're at eyes, at that little part. You just wait a little bit, and then you go. So we're going to do this. There's a little introduction, and then we'll all speak. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are touched by amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. Trust the wisdom in each of us. we extinguish our chalice with this reading from Jesus and his kingdom of equals. The kingdom of love is coming because somewhere someone is kind when others are unkind. Somewhere someone shares with another in need. Somewhere someone refuses to hate while others hate. Somewhere someone is patient and waits in love. Somewhere someone serves another in love. Somewhere someone is calm in a storm. Somewhere someone is loving everybody. Is that someone you? Thank you all so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Go in peace. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be. Thanks.